Welcome to our I Work NC Virtual NC Career Connection speaker series today. We're so glad to have with us Miss Diana Raygor, and we're celebrating Manufacturing Month, and she's here to talk about her company, Glen Raven Incorporated, as well as share with us about how organizations develop solutions and programs that align with human capital and business objectives. So we're going to let you, Ms. Raygor, begin your presentation.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for having me too. I've done a lot of work recently with the universities because we're going virtual for everything. So it's been an adventure. There's an embedded video. It seems like that will trip up the PowerPoint presentation. So you'll have to pardon me if there's an embedded video and I've got to kind of flip screens a little bit. So I apologize for that. It should work smoother than that, but I maybe should have gotten a degree in graphic arts or something like that. But anyway, again, thank you so much for being interested. Manufacturing is an interesting place to be right now. Obviously, we are having to change up our strategies a little bit. It's always been, and I've been in the industry. I was in the industry for a long time, worked for Burlington Industries and then Kaiser Roth for many years. And then I left the industry and actually worked in a number of other healthcare, worked for United Healthcare for 10 years, negotiating contracts and doing things like that. And then I worked for Merz Pharmaceuticals another 10 years, and that's where I started really getting into recruiting. So I was a jack of all trades, didn't necessarily go into human resources, and have been now probably 25 years in human resources. And during that time, the changes have just been, I mean, they hit, they say, but anyway, Glen Raven, I think, is a little bit of a misunderstood manufacturing environment. I think people think Glen Raven mills and they think dirty and manufacturing. And so that's been one of the bigger speed bumps that everybody in the manufacturing environments had to overcome recently. So we do have a lot of strategic sessions around that, how we can change our image. So I'm always happy to show people what Glen Raven looks like. And that's part of the strategy, build it and they will come. But then you have to tell people about it. Glen Raven's never been one to boast or brag, but they're this amazing little company in Burlington, North Carolina, of all places. It's kind of sandwiched in between a little bit two bigger communities in Raleigh and Greensboro. And that's a lot of where we draw our employees from for corporate. I forget, I was going to tell you something else about that, but I'm sure I'll remember it. The way that we're aligning our business objectives, which change constantly with human capital, is definitely going virtual. So everything has to be easy. Everything has to be a click of a button. That's what people expect. They expect to be able to go on. We're in the middle of a big program right now to change our website so that it's a lot more attractive to younger job seekers. We're trying to start them out. I've done some programs for high school students. They've come in. One young lady actually apologized to me when she left. She had on old sneakers and kind of old jeans. And she said, I had no idea that I was coming to this kind of facility. I thought we were going to a dirty plant. And so I thought that was kind of insightful from such a young person. I think she was a junior in high school. I'll give you a little bit of an overview of the career opportunities, spotlight a couple jobs just so that you have kind of an idea of the different things that we have going on. Glen Raven is a very, very eclectic, very broad, very innovative. We have a lot of different things going on that just wouldn't make sense, don't seem like they go together. I'll tell you a little bit about the schooling and the experience that's required. Everything from you don't even have a high school diploma all the way through PhD level. And then advice and a list of helpful references. And most of these were geared towards the high school students. So Glen Raven is, as I said, we're a global organization. We really have three main divisions. That's custom fabrics, which is Sunbrella. People know that product probably the most. It's a very high-end, expensive product that other companies use to make their product. So we don't really sell to a end user or to somebody who's going into a store to buy something. We sell to companies who are making a product like indoor furniture, outdoor furniture, sunshades, convertible tops for cars, bimini tops for boats, the interiors, the cockpit material for the inside of boats and yachts. And we also work a lot in the industrial clothing industry, which I'll get into that and describe to you a little bit more. That's our technical fabrics division. And that includes Glenguard, Strata, Glen Raven Transportation, and I'll hit on all three of those. And then we have TriVantage, which is our distribution arm. And when I came to Glen Raven, I was really that we not only distribute our own fabric, but we also distribute other companies' fabrics as well. So that's a little different from what I've seen in the past. In the United States, we have offices in a lot of different states, as you can see. Globally, France, China, India, the US, those are the larger entities. But again, our corporate headquarters is in Burlington, North Carolina. And of the 54 locations, 23 countries and 6 continents, it's all managed through corporate at Glen Raven. So how we align with business objectives is really, I picked out a few areas to talk about. And one that usually high school students are interested in is corporate responsibility and sustainability. Zero landfill, clean water. We don't put any dirty water out into the environment. We don't emit any air that's not, safe for human beings. We have the highest safety ratings. We have LEED certified facilities, which means that it's very, very economical to operate, and it's very minimal use of resources. So to just give you an example, when somebody leaves a room, the lights go out. That's the type of thing. All the materials that we use are sustainable materials. Recycling is huge. Like I said, zero landfill. We recycle everything. We don't throw anything away. So we're very good stewards to the environment, and that's huge these days with global warming and that type of thing. So we also offer world-class customer service. Almost all of our business units have customer service and customer care jobs. They're very important to the company. They're the ones that the customers and the public get to know. We provide a diverse and inclusive workspace, which means in our workplace, we have actually built out our newest building to include a lot more areas for people to sit and have conversations. We have a rooftop dining area where you can go up there and have meetings and things like that. We have a beautiful coffee shop where people can come together and share ideas. We maintain efficiency through our analytics and awareness. So these days, big data, that's the way companies are going, and they need people who definitely have the curiosity to want to dig into problems and situations and put some numbers behind that to look at better outcomes. We also offer training and development. We have a high potential program, which was more geared towards entry-level employees, where they can come into the company and be part of a program that even sends them to other locations to learn more about what's going on globally. We send them to Center Creative Leadership several times during that 2 years. They get to work with other entities that are have more global ties, so they can understand the whole organization. We even have development programs, and I have a slide about this for high school students who want to go straight from school into a into a company that has a good learning environment. And we pay for school. We have reimbursement programs all the way up through MBA programs. To see if I can see all this. I may have to minimize my screen, sorry. North Carolina, our corporate headquarters again is located there. Most of the business and operations positions like marketing, sales, accounting, analytics, project managers, supply chain, again, like I said, customer service, e-commerce, the creative, graphics division is there, safety, our executive team is located there. So that's again where most of those individuals you would find in working in their offices, not right now, but on phones. We're mostly working from home right now. But that's the type of jobs that they have. A lot of those positions, either I would say mostly require an associate's degree to start out in a lot of those positions at corporate. A lot of them require a bachelor's degree because of the kind of work that they're doing with analytics, marketing, finance, those types of things. We do have several plants in North Carolina. We have one right behind our corporate headquarters. We in Burnsville, North Carolina, and our biggest facility is in Anderson, South Carolina. It's a 1 million square foot state-of-the-art plant. And in those plants, not only do we have the associates who are working hands-on with those products, but we also have engineers located there, many types of engineers, which I frankly had to learn a little bit more. I had no idea there were so many different types, but quality control, R&D, people who work in the labs, who do some really cool, fun experiments with the fabric. So as far as our global headquarters, the US operations, this is what the outside of the building looks like. It's very contemporary, very modern. This is a little bit of a look around our campus, and you can see it's a very, very pleasant place to work. In the left-hand side of your screen, which you're looking at there, is our Sunbrella corporate headquarters. It was our very first plant. We had an amazing architect come in. They gutted it really except for the brick walls. Everything else inside is really modern and glass, and we have classroom space in there. That's where our coffee shop is. And so you'll see a lot of people trekking over there from the other building on a daily basis, usually when we're not in these circumstances. But we also have, below that is a maker space. A maker space is where people can come in. They can put their hands on our products. They can use the 3D printing machines, the cutting machines, sewing machines. We do offer classes that you have to pass. They're just short. Some of it's safety related. When you're using machinery, you have to always be cautious of that, but we do offer that so that people can get in there and test out their ideas. And actually that building just opened, and the idea is to have it accessible to people to come from all over the world, really. And then on the right-hand side of the screen, I just showed a little bit about, we have a walkway. We have some beautiful gardens that the founder, his wife brought some of those rose garden bushes and other plants and things. She brought that to the company with her company to Burlington almost 140 years ago. So we do have plants on our site that are actually over 100 years old, and they're tended to very carefully. And it's just kind of one of the things. We have walking trails. You can go outside, you can relax. We have areas outside that are covered that you can go take your lunch. We have a gym, we have a yoga room, we have a full medical clinic on site. So it's just a little corporate campus that's grown and become pretty amazing. I have a picture in the lower right-hand corner of our new skywalk. is actually a way to go from building to building without getting wet. So we are always trying to make it a little bit more convenient and nicer for employees as well. So first I'll concentrate on custom fabrics, which is Sunbrella. That's that building that I was just telling you about. Their workspace is based there. I do have, and we'll see how well the video works, but I do have a video to show you for that. So you can see from a couple of these pictures that in this space, there I'm in the corner, you can see a group of people who are gathered on the main area, and they're probably talking about what designs, what trends are coming, what colors are going to be popular. I always call it a candy store because they have the most beautiful fabric that I have ever seen, and it changes constantly. So companies are very competitive about their fabric, and we have to be very careful when customers come to visit that they don't see other companies' fabric that they're using for the upcoming season. So I always thought that was kind of interesting. It's kind of like this, you know, we have to be a little bit secret, which is kind of a fun thought too. And the picture right above that, you can see a gentleman who's kind of bending down. He's putting some fabric swatches up on the wall. And this is where the representatives and the buyers from these other big companies will come in, and they'll all gather and they'll stand around that wall of fabric, and then they'll talk. I love to kind of, if I'm walking by, kind of eavesdrop. We do have designers in that building. We mainly hire designers from right now 2 schools, 2 universities, a 4-year degree, and they do a lot of work with CAD. So they design it, they come up with color patterns, they do all the research on it, and then they get their CAD drawings are sent to our plant in Anderson. And from that, that's where those swatches came from, so that their customers can stand in front of it and decide which colors, which patterns, which palettes they're going to go with for a season. And then they'll come back in once we have bigger swatches and books put together, and then they'll go through that and have further discussion. So again, I said those swatches came from our plant in South Carolina, and the plant in South Carolina actually established the blueprint for our plants in France and China. So we do have facilities. What we make in those other countries, we sell in the other countries. What we make in the US, we pretty much sell in the US. We don't do a lot of importing and exporting. You can also see in that bottom picture, there's two people standing on top of a meeting room. So that's a really cool space. Now we have some amazing like beanbag furniture up there, and people go up there and they have meetings, or they just kind of relax and talk and congregate. This is my little inset video, so we'll see what happens and if it will play in this. I'm not sure it's going to play for us. I wanted to show you firsthand what it looks like. Yeah, and I don't know if it's going to load on this platform. So this was a video that showed you the whole inside of that new building, as well as the really, really cool, you know, coffee shop, and the ideas behind why they designed the building the way that they did. And it was actually to solve a business problem, and that was to really be appealing physically, visually, to all of their customers, as well as making it a great place for the employees for collaboration and relaxation, so that it's kind of like home away from home. So I'm sorry that the video won't load into this. Usually I don't have any problems with Zoom, but it doesn't seem to want to allow me to advance through it there. But some of the Sunbrella products are indoor furniture, outdoor furniture. We also are into a lot of the marine and boat products. The people in marketing and a couple other areas of the company, we have trade show individuals who go and promote these all over the world, actually, but they do get to travel around the world. They do get to go to shows where they're very, very futuristic in order to get ideas for what our products could be a part of. I know when the self-driving cars were first coming out, we actually had one on our campus, and a few of us got to actually go for a ride and drive it. And it was, we didn't get to drive it hands-free. We still had to do it in the manual mode, but it was interesting to see how the seats swivel around and how you could sit and have a conversation, and just as the car's traveling down the road. So we get a lot of inspiration, we get a lot of ideas. How can we work with other industries? What can we use our fabric for? So it's a fun, really fun, exciting environment. The career spotlight that I chose for this section is our fabric designers. They do have, again, 4-year degrees. Most of them come out of NC State or Philadelphia. It's in Philadelphia. They just changed their name from Philadelphia University to Jefferson. So as you can see, they're up, moving around all day, creating all of these designs, talking with each other, talking with the customers, talking with buyers, talking with sales. So it's a pretty dynamic position. They also have to be, very personable in order to get along with so many different kinds of people, and some are demanding as well. But textile designers usually start off making about $50,000 a year, but senior designers can make more than $80,000 a year. And whenever I'm talking about some of these salary ranges, these are industry ranges, and Glen Raven, we always have made it a policy to pay within the salary ranges. We have several different ways that we pull the comps for salaries to make sure that we're paying people equitably as whatever they would make in another company. Because when we get really great people, we want them to come, and we want them to love working at Glen Raven, where we want them to stay. Career spotlight, another career spotlight here is manufacturing and testing. So this is a glimpse inside. This is not one of our plants. This is another plant that I was able to use the photography for, because again, the equipment is kind of a secret. They don't really, companies really don't let you know where they're getting their equipment from, or exactly what their processes look like, but this will give you an idea. So this is again where these employees, this could be somebody who is specifically working on this machine to make sure that none of the yarns have broken. We call them yarns, they look like thread, but none of the yarns have snapped loose or broken. The machine also shuts down automatically if that happens, but we do have people who are monitoring that. Or it could be an engineer who's looking at some kind of technical difficulty where something's happened and there's a flaw in a pattern, and they're looking at the machine to see if there's some type of issue with some of the tension or something like that. They actually have machines that are attached to rails on the ceiling around that area constantly, sucking up any lint or dust. And on one hand, it makes it very, very safe for human beings. There used to be a problem in manufacturing when there was lint floating around that people were breathing it in. But now the air environment in those plants is probably better than outside, because it's constantly being filtered, it's constantly being checked. But one of the other aspects of it is that there's no lint getting caught up in that fabric. You can imagine, because we made fabric for convertible tops. We made fabric that goes the inside of your car. When you look up that headliner, we manufactured that. And if that had any kind of flaw in it, you'd be able to see it and you wouldn't want to buy that car for sure. Same way with a very expensive couch or a outside awning or outdoor furniture. We have to make sure that our fabric is impeccable. So the next section that I'll talk about is our technical fabrics division, and there are two products right Things change constantly, but right now it's Glen and Strata, and I'll explain a little bit more about what those products are. Glen Raven Technical Fabrics. The gentleman who is in the picture at the right-hand top, who looks like he's ready for COVID, actually, he is working for an oil company on some lines that if there's a spark, that it could catch on fire. So his suit is fire protectant. You can also see that he has some reflective material around the cuff of that sleeve, and that's for safety purposes. Everything is designed to not be able to catch on fire. But at the same time, it has to be kind of breathable so that people aren't overheating and getting too hot. So there's a lot of technology that goes into that, and we definitely work with NC State and Clemson University usually on some of those technologies that go into that. The bottom picture, which looks like a big hill, and it's got a lot of something that looks like boxes almost on there. That is our Strata System product. So it's used all over the world, really, really, really heavily right now in India, because they're doing a lot of infrastructure. It's also used for landslide areas and things like that. So if you're on a new road and you drive by a big wall and it looks like it has a whole bunch of blocks in front of it, those blocks aren't actually holding the soil back. They're just for decoration to make it look pretty. But what's holding back the soil is that StrataGuard system. There's just a few like that. And the standards for that, of course, have to meet all the government requirements. And there's a lot. So our engineers, R&D, quality assurance, that's the type of jobs that are involved in making the Strata product. So this is just a little bit more about Glen. As I was talking, they have to engineer it so that it's for comfort and excellent protection. When you're talking about human lives, it has to be right. We do not actually manufacture that fabric, so we have a third party, another company actually manufactures that for us to our specifications. And then we sell it to other companies who then sew together the fabric to make those shirts and pants and the headgear. Even sometimes in bigger companies, they'll use the reflective material for flagmen and things like that. But this company, this gentleman is, again, he's working outside on a line, and you can see his clothing is a little bit different. I can't even remember how many different types of clothing that they make for that line, but they all have that really high-end protection. And most, again, of those people are working in, of course, a huge component, marketing, because they have to try and sell it. Marketing, planning, accounting, engineering, all of those positions would require a college degree. Research and development, there's a lot of different positions in research and development. This picture is of a quality assurance manager who is looking through some specifications, and then she tests that fabric against the specifications to make sure that our customers are getting exactly what they ask for. And they work on existing products, as she is, but they also work on new products and ideas and innovative ways that we can use those products. They've even used them in some like high top tennis shoes, really, really cool handbags, just any type of thing that you can think of that fabric could be used for. We have a big competition every year at work where people can submit ideas. Anybody who works there. It doesn't matter what job they have, they can submit their idea for how the products can be used. And then they could get a nice reward for that if theirs is picked. The salary range for jobs in the R&D area. Usually they'll come in, R&D techs will come in around $30,000. Most of them have at least an associate's degree, but that's not to say that you can't come into one of those jobs from another entry point in the company and advance into that job. The directors, managers, directors they make over $150,000 a year in those kinds of jobs. So technical fabrics, the strata that I was telling you about, the geosynthetic solutions, these are a couple pictures. So the one, again, it looks like those boxes. This is on a hillside, and this is where they're actually running the concrete down on top of it. That is holding that soil back. It stabilizes the area so that there's not landslides or mud, or that the earth is not eroding beneath that pile that has some new shopping center or roadway. On the right-hand side, you can see where they've used it to stabilize a mountain, actually. And that's in India. That picture is one in India. And as I said, they use it in the United States, but right now, India is probably our biggest user for these geosynthetic solutions. But the plant there to make strata is bigger than the plant in the United States. And so we're kind of growing from there. And sometimes if we can't produce enough, that's where a situation where we may ask them to produce it in India and ship it to the United States. My career spotlight here is for civil engineers. Civil engineers are working a lot with the government. They're out there walking the site. They're looking at how much soil has to be removed, how much soil has to be contained in a certain area. One of our bigger projects recently actually was a landfill. So it was a massive, massive project because I don't know if you're aware, but landfill space in the United States at a shortage these days. And so they're having to find new ways, creative ways to contain some of the things that we throw out, some of those plastic drinking bottles, which we're probably all not good about using too many of those, and some of the other things that we throw in the waste in high quantities. So 4-year degree is required. The average salaries for civil engineers, about 83, 84,000. They start off usually around 65, 68 and advance from there. So I pulled this number from the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, and you can go to that website and you can look at different salary ranges. You can go a lot of different places to check out salary ranges. You can go on Indeed.com and you can get an idea of what somebody should make working in any given industry, in any given position. So it says the lowest paid 10% of civil engineers receive less than 53,000, but I will tell you, I have not seen that not around our area for a very, very long time. So civil engineers are doing very well. We have a logistics department. So you see the picture of the tractor trailer. You may have seen those around town if you live near one of our plants, or if you live near our plant. I see them all the time. As a matter of fact, I was in Scottsdale, Arizona the year before last, and I was just driving down a highway there and came up across a Glen Raven truck. And I was very surprised because they all run out of Burlington, North Carolina. So they deliver freight. We have our own trucks. We also use other people's trucks to move things. And we move things for all different companies. We do move our own goods. We move our fabric around from place to place to our customers. But a lot of the business now is just moving stuff for other companies as well. So this was my career spotlight there, is truck drivers, although truck drivers isn't the only job that you could have if you work for logistics, because they need a lot of people in customer service, because they answer the phone and they plan those routes and who's going to drive what truck when and where and what they're going to actually carry. So today, truck drivers are in very high demand, and people aren't really going into that field anymore. You can drive solo, you can drive your own truck, you can drive a company's truck, you can drive as part of a team. And over the road drivers who work in teams to 150,000 a year as a team. I see some of the individual drivers now with their own trucks that are making close to that, just as a single driver. Now you have to keep in mind, they have to pay for their truck. They have to, they have to pay for the maintenance and that kind of thing. But they also qualify for a lot of different kinds of bonuses each year because they're in demand. They're paying them a lot more in bonuses, sign-on bonuses, safety bonuses, fuel. You do not need to have any type of degree or anything. You can come right out of high school, go to a driving school, get your certification to drive a truck from there. A clean driving record, of course, is required for that job. And you can drive a company truck for a while. Glen Raven generally, Glen Raven Logistics generally looks for drivers who have a couple years of experience because of the safety. And all of our trucks, even the ones that are independently owned, all now have the cameras in there. And I've actually gotten to go in and sit down, look at some of the video, and it's not an easy job. So it's well worth it. It's a career spot that I think is going to be very, very hot for some years to come. They are looking at autonomous vehicles, but I think it's going to be a little while before we start seeing that. And it seems to be the most economical way to move goods around the country without having to ship them by rail or send them, a lot of it goes by airplane now with all the amount of stuff that people are ordering online. But it's been a very lucrative business and growing. And our headquarters is in Altamaha, North Carolina, at a very beautiful facility there that actually still has the house. It's been totally restored that the owner lived in upstairs and he worked downstairs. And people still use that. We use it for meeting room space and that type of thing. So the company's, that aspect of the company is doing very well, additionally. So TriVantage is the last one I'll talk about. That's our distribution arm of the company. And again, as I said, we do distribute our own fabric out of there, but we also distribute other companies. I'll tell you why. We started out only distributing our own fabric, and we worked with small companies in the industry. They call them mom and pop companies. So they're little companies that somebody started, and maybe they're out putting up shade structures for people. Maybe you want an awning that's a retractable awning to cover your patio, and maybe I just want an awning that's going to cover my front door or something like that. So we all have different needs. These small shops, they were going out doing different things every day. People were buying from all different companies, and they were having to go in and get on the phone and call 50 companies in a day to get the fabric that their customer chose to use as part of their product, their finished product. So what Glen Raven did as a business solution was we bought out a couple of these other distribution companies. And so Vantage, so the advantage of having 3 companies in one. And now we distribute everything that those could need so that they don't have to go 50 million places. So we're helping them to make their business better and easier so that they'll stay with us and bring us business and let us serve them. So we do employ people in there who drive forklifts. Forklift drivers do require a certification. There's a lot of safety that goes into that. You don't want to run anybody over. You don't want to run any coworkers over, or knock over any large, bins or anything like that, or they call them stacks or racks with all the fabric and everything, the rolls on those bins. But we also use people who pick and pack those orders. It's a really nice, very nice location. This is actually the side entrance to our Mebane facility, and nice area, patio area. And again, they have they have access to everything at corporate. If they wanted to come over to corporate and use the gym or the medical facility there, they're welcome to that. And we encourage them to do that as well. It's about 10-15 minutes away. But they do have a wide variety of positions. Most of those positions are working to 5, 9 to 6, those types of schedules. So they're good schedules most of the time with the weekends off, unless there's just something that there's a lot going on. And then we may have people in there who are loading or unloading those trucks, but they have a lot of equipment that they use, the hand trucks that they use to pick it. They'll go and pick some fabric off of a shelf. They'll bring it over, they'll put it on a machine, they'll roll out the amount of fabric that that customer has requested, cut it, it's rolled again, it's put into a plastic sleeve, then it's put into a box, and then it's put in a staging area with the postage on there and the address. And there's another group of people who are assigned to doing that. And then it's double checked, and then it's ready to be picked up and by either our truck, UPS, FedEx, you name it. There's trucks in and out of there all day long. The career spotlight that I did pick for that position at Tri-Vintage is just because I have these positions come open more often, but it's customer service or customer care. It's not really a huge call center environment. There's probably, in our office, we have customer care reps across the United States, and they will work with our customers to receive their orders, troubleshoot, make recommendations. Sometimes they've got to find a faster way to ship it to them because maybe there was some damaged goods. It doesn't happen often, but it could happen. So they have to really be able to troubleshoot. You're on the phone all day, but it goes by very quickly. They're busy all the time, and every single call is usually something a little bit different. We pride ourselves on the fact that we have we're able to answer those calls right away, take care of those customers right away. And we have happy customers because those customer service reps are what's keeping our customers coming back, because they know if they have a problem, they're going to get help right away. Customer service reps, we look for an associate's degree. You don't have to have an associate's degree. We've hired people out of all different kinds of customer service backgrounds. Some of them come from, maybe they've worked at a retail store, high school or something like that. A couple of them have worked at banks. All different types of backgrounds. It's something that you can definitely learn. Personalities probably more important than anything else, and being able to troubleshoot. They make between $32,000 to $60,000 a year. So that's $15 to $30 an hour. There's opportunities for advancement. I've seen people advance from those positions into trade show specialists, marketing, all different types of different career paths. I think the one good thing about it is while you're working for the company, if you have a different career path that you're hoping for, and you just haven't been able to plan for that or to go to a specific university or whatever, you can start, you can work there and go to school. The company has a tuition reimbursement program that helps individuals, helps employees to go back to school, and we have on-site learning opportunities as well. So you can actually, it's one way you can actually help yourself get a little bit more advanced degree. We also offer opportunity for people who already have bachelor's degrees or are looking to get MBAs. And I'm trying to get that set up so that we even have somebody from the Elon on our campus from Elon University come and do it on site. So we're always looking for new ways to help our employees better themselves. But again, I put a little description at the bottom. A 2-year college degree is desired. Having a pleasant attitude, patience with customers, and attention to detail. It's probably the most important thing. Another spotlight is working in the warehouse, the Trivantage Distribution Center. We do, as I was explaining the different positions and the things that you do, we do hire on an ongoing basis for the warehouse workers. Generally, they make around $14 to $16 an hour, and forklift drivers, the way I was explaining, they need a little bit extra education and certification there. There's special classes that you can go to, especially at the community colleges that can provide those types of certifications, and they make up to maybe $23 an hour, but they can make more if they've got a lot of years of experience and they have a very clean safety record. High school diplomas required really for those, are highly desired, showing that you have maybe worked someplace else, that you've been a very dependable employee, even if it's working at a retail establishment or a restaurant or something like that. You can show, if you can show dependability, that you went to work, you got there on time, your managers have good things to say about you, and you followed all of their safety guidelines, you had very good work habits, and you got along with other people. That's always, I think for every position at Glen Raven, that's a prerequisite. Being able to get along with coworkers and get along with other people is really critical for our culture, for our environment. We're a very family friendly, family focused type of company. So we offer internships for college students. Generally speaking, they're starting the summer. So usually we kind of target juniors, rising juniors and rising seniors. So that's after you've had a couple of years of college. However, recently we've also had a couple freshmen who have come in and done an excellent job, exceeded our expectations really in what college freshmen, having completed 1 year of college, what they're capable of contributing to the company. You can see in these pictures, I've put some pictures in of some of the students when they were working through their internships. We have lots of opportunities for them to go see things, do things, be together, have fun, learn from other employees who have worked for the company for a little while. We have lunch and learns, we have coffee meetings, and also that they can meet other employees. And I set that up for them so that they have opportunities for mentoring. We also have apprenticeship programs for high school students, and they can check with their career counselors on that. But the Career Accelerator Program for Alamance County, we are a partner for that. We were one of the very first partners. We've had interns, apprentice for several years. It's an amazing, amazing opportunity to get your foot in the door and go to school. And amazingly, let me see if I have a slide. Yeah. We start students sometimes in the summer before they've even graduated. After their junior year, they'll come in and work a little bit, see how they like it. The students get to actually apply for different companies. The ones that we've had at Glen Raven, after they've had an opportunity to come and tour, sometimes their parents come with them. We've been their first choice. So we were lucky that we did get students who are very interested in being at Glen Raven, and we start paying them at that point in time. They go back to school classes at high school and maybe go half a day to high school and come and work for us half a day. Follow up in the following summer, they go full time and they're working more on specific projects, and so they can learn. And then when fall hits, they enroll in Alamance Community College, and we are part of a program there where they're specifically training students to get their associate's degree. We pay 100% for their college tuition, their books, and we also pay them just like they they were making $12 an hour or $14 an hour, where your pay does accelerate as you go through the program. We pay them that salary to go and sit and take their classes, help them with their homework if they have any issues, anything that they need help with, because some of them are technical classes. We would definitely have somebody assigned to them to help them with that. And we work with the teachers in the high school to help get that, identify students, help get them oriented, and just work through the whole program. Usually we'll have one or two opportunities a year, mostly at our Burlington plant, but we have other locations where we're looking at as well. So we're a big contributor to that program. And this just further explains exactly what I was saying, that they do by the end of the program, you do have come out with an associate's degree. It's a 4-year program. And then if you want to go on and earn a bachelor's degree in engineering or supply chain management or whatever, we will continue. It's not 100% paid, but then you slide under our reimbursement program, our university reimbursement program, and you can earn your bachelor's, some financial assistance for that, and help the program. You're not paid. It's not the same as you're not paid while you're in the classroom taking the classes, but we work it out. Our plants have three different schedules, and you could actually work a second shift schedule, go to school in the morning, come in and work, and then be able to go home and work on homework and that type of thing. So we offer during that whole time for those apprentices, they also get health insurance and retirement benefits and paid time off. So they still have 11 paid holidays and 1 floating holiday and I think they get 2 weeks of paid vacation a year. So it's really nice, nicely set up. So the job outlook, there's a growing emphasis on manufacturing in the United States. If you've watched any of the presidential election information that's out there, I think it's definitely something that's top of mind for the United States to bring some of our manufacturing back that was outsourced to other companies. The salary ranges are very good, starting with the entry level. Again, we have everything from, if you have a high school diploma, and we like that a lot. We like to hire people who have finished high school and they're ready to start working. Those salaries can start at $30,000 a year, so more lucrative than working, in some of the, maybe in fast food or retail or something like that. You can have a great start and you get all the benefits too. You also, we have a pension plan still, which I know that probably doesn't mean much to many people, but it's not something that is seen anymore. Once you actually retire, you still continue to get money on a monthly basis like you were working. So you can earn a benefit like that. The typical entry level education for most of the positions that are based in our office, so at the corporate offices and not in the plant locations, although we do have some office-based positions that are in the plants, such as a couple supply chain positions, quality control. Those positions are more considered office-based because they're not working directly on the lines with the products, developing with, running the associate's degree is required for some of those, but you can enter into those jobs coming from a position on the floor, and you can move into those office-based positions from there as well. We generally look for work experience in a related occupation for some of those jobs, a couple years of experience that's similar to what the job is that you'll be doing is often what we look for, just because we haven't had, we're a smaller company. We're not as huge as Hanes Brands or VF, where they have thousands and thousands and thousands of employees. We have 3,000 worldwide. We only have 1,700 in the US. I say only, but that's a good size company. We have a lot going on. But the managers are usually looking for some help. They have an open position and they'd like to find somebody that has some experience. In some cases, we do train from, from day one. We'll take somebody without experience and train them in that position. If you're already an employee, the hire. On-the-job training is available. We help employees through the years to grow their careers and hope that they enjoy working at Glen Raven enough to want to stay and contribute. Manufacturing, again, it's not what it used to be years and years ago. Glen Raven facilities are very, very, we're getting more high tech all the time. We do need people who have the capability on the floor of learning how to use a computer, because the computers are now where they're really learning how to identify issues within that fabric. They have mechanical eyes, that are scanning back and forth over that fabric all the time to check to make sure that there's nothing that a human eye has missed that we need to be paying attention to. Safety is extremely important. Excuse me. Employee well-being is a key focus of ours. All of our plants have wellness centers, gyms, walking trails. We have programs where you can buy a bicycle and get paid back for what you've put out for that bike. Salary ranges are very competitive. Opportunities for development and advancement for all of our employees at any level. So I just wanted to touch a little bit on required schooling. Again, I don't want to go over this too much because I just talked about it, but manufacturing positions really don't have any education requirements. We do desire a high school diploma, but for advancement in the career path, computer skills, mechatronics, organization skills, people skills, they're all very important. And again, the salary ranges for some of those jobs start at $12 an hour. They can range from $25,000 a year to more than $75,000 a year when you get into the team lead positions, the supervisor positions. And we're hiring for those almost all the time, to tell you the truth. As people advance, the situation is now that people have been in those jobs for a very, very long time and they never left. And now we have a lot of them who are getting ready to enter retirement. So we're starting to feed in more and refill a lot more of those positions. For something like an IT, an associate's degree is preferred. A work experience and training can take the place of that. So if you've been working in a situation where you've been setting up laptops, setting up desktops, and you have enough experience and some training in doing that, you can definitely advance into a position at Glen Raven for an IT help desk. So these positions pay from the low $30,000 to $60,000, depending on how much experience. Computer science classes are definitely a route to go if students want to do that, or just the love of technology and working with computers. Some people just love to tear their computer apart at home and add components and fix them and help their neighbors and that type of thing. And that can be a way to get into that field as well. So it doesn't require any kind of actually other technical training, except for just a true love and, desire to do that type of work. So if you get into the more technical positions with IT, like web developers, they can make $100,000 a year. They're very much in demand right now. Coding skills are required. A lot of those people will have, for $100,000 a year in the industry, you probably would have about maybe 8 years of experience. So they come in making less than that, but can develop very quickly and move ahead very, very quickly.
Wow, Ms. Raygor, this information's so great. We're in the last few minutes of the program. So we had a couple of questions that you had shared about the internships, and Ellen Hart wanted to know, Do you offer that virtually for students now that we're in COVID-19?
Well, and so we're trying to definitely develop all of these programs and do these things. As far as I know, the students you're talking about
The
the
apprenticeship for students.
apprenticeship. So as far as I know with that, we are following Alamance Community College's guidelines. So if they are offering that class remotely, that's what our students are doing. However, you know, some of that, obviously you're working with machinery, and you've got to, you have to be there, and you've got to be able to put your hands on that machinery to learn those skills. But for the classes, whatever Alamance Community College is doing to continue those courses, they're being continued.
Wow, thank you. That's great information. How about, there was another question. Where is your India plant located?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't have my list right now. I'm sorry. I don't even know because I've never been there. I think there's 3 locations in India.
Okay, they could probably find it on your website.
It is. If you just go to the Glen Raven website, it'll give you all the locations of all of our facilities.
Wow, you have given us so much great information. We could stay forever, but according to time, we're
Yes, I'm
probably
sorry.
finishing up. Oh, you're fine. You have some great information. I was wondering if you would care if we share your presentation with our students also.
Yes, you're welcome to that. Absolutely. You're welcome to use that.
Well, thank you. It's so well laid out, and you gave so many various degrees and ways that they could work in industry. So, thank you for this wonderful, wonderful information. And I know that our students will be so glad to hear all these opportunities. I actually have a student that wants to get his CDL and work as a trucker. So,
Oh,
I had
wow.
mentioned this to him. So, thank you so much
Yeah.
for including
And
all this.
we're always happy to talk to students. I've even done some tours in the plants. We have to be very careful about age and how, you know, we prefer 18 to come in and tour the plants, but we're always happy to work with students, have somebody talk with them about a specific career path. So let us know what we can do to be a part of that.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you to this wonderful audience we've had today. And we'll finish up and hope everyone has a great Friday. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for the opportunity.